You come out of the second half, and Shapen gets popped on the first play of the game. It's a rough in the passer penalty that I didn't really think was rough in the passer. It's one of those penalties I think is kind of stupid. But you get the flag. They make Shapen leave the game to put him into concussion protocol. KT comes in, and 3 plays later, you're in the end zone. You see his ability with his legs, which obviously we've seen plenty of times this season. But then he delivers a strike downfield to Anthony Evans, who breaks into the end zone and scores, which I just laughed out loud when that happened, because that is the most MSU thing ever, that fans have been screaming for this guy to be the quarterback for months. Everybody's sick and tired of Blake Shapen, and the second Shapen goes out of the game, you go score a touchdown in 3 plays. And you get momentum, right? And, I think Arkansas goes down and scores, but then you get the ball back, and again, you move the ball a little bit. KT wasn't as sharp on that drive. You started to see some of the misses, and I'll speak on that a little bit more later. You end up going for a 4th down where he has an open receiver, and he just misfires, and you're not able to convert there. But then you get the ball back, and he leads them on another drive, and he breaks for – it was a broken play. It was supposed to be a play-action pass, and – I think he maybe had a receiver open, but the pressure gets there. He just has to make something happen, and Kamario takes off and turns it into a long touchdown run. And you see the ability that he has. And it's like, holy crap, this guy has come off the bench and scored 2 quick touchdowns for you. You're right back in this ball game. You ended up stopping Arkansas in the ensuing drive. This whole time, Shapen has had to be in the injury tent in and out of that. And I think everyone in that moment is the future is now. It is Kamario Taylor's team. He has to take over. And Blake Shapen comes back out. A decision that there was no one in the fan base that wanted to see. And the first play throws an interception. Do I put the pick on him? No. The ball was high. It's a pass that has to be caught every single time. If you're Anthony Evans, you have to catch that football. That's an opportunity that's going to be a first down. Keep moving. And it's intercepted, and Arkansas goes and scores a touchdown a few plays later. And everyone in that moment is like, you idiot. That was when I got multiple messages of, fire him. We're done. Jeff Lebby, over with. Anyone who was holding out hope, anyone who was saying, well, maybe even I don't have faith right now, but I understand right now we can't make a change. In that moment, get rid of him. And then Jeff Lebby gets proven right, because Blake Shapen then leads them on 3 scoring drives to end the game and made some really nice throws down the stretch. And ultimately leads Mississippi State to a win in crunch time. He looked more like the quarterback he looked like for much of the last game against Texas there in that 4th quarter. He stepped up in a moment where Mississippi State needed him to. And I think you see very clearly why he is Lebby's guy, because they trust him to execute in those spots. And I guess since we're already talking about the Kamario Taylor thing, because I think that's what everyone's most interested in, we'll just get into it. I think the second possession of Kamario in the game is why he is not the starter. That possession, he was rough passing. He had an overthrow that should have been intercepted. Could have been a completion maybe if it's a more accurate throw, but still it was into double coverage. Ball gets knocked away, really should have been picked off. Misfired. He overthrew a check down. And then obviously there was the 4th down where he's got Aiden Williams open. And I don't know if he read it wrong, if he thought Williams was going to cut the other way, or if he was trying to throw underneath and overthrew. I'm not sure what happened there. It should have been a big completion down the field, and he just wasn't sharp there. And this is one of those things where there's been a lot of people who have talked about with Kamario who have more of an understanding of they've watched this kid play and also know what they're watching for. And it's not just as simple as, hey, he's a playmaker. And we had a guy come in, and he's in the chat. Shout out to Right Yard Services. He talked to us on the Collins show about how he's kind of heard rumblings of Kamario in practice is just not quite there from a passing standpoint. And I think for Lebby, it is ultimately a case of he does not want to put him in the game and lean on him in a situation where we know we have to throw to win, and or there are certain throws that have to be made to be able to win a game in terms of converting in key spots. Whereas Shapen, he trusts more consistently to do that. Now, we know Shapen has his flaws. The arm talent is really, at this point, I mean, the arm talent should be good, but he does misfire frequently. He does not have the athleticism. His pocket presence is terrible, all those things. Shapen has his flaws that leads to mistakes, and that is where Kamario's athleticism makes up for it. And, Hydro games, this situation where you can see what Kamario can do for the scheme. He's a space creator. Defenders cannot pin their ear back and go after him like they can Shapen, even in the passing game. I agree with all that. And you follow it up. He can create space. He's just got to settle down. I'm not sure he can run the entire passing game, but I'm not sure Shapen can either. All that's fair. And I'm not sitting here telling you Shapen is clearly better. That's not the point I'm making. Kamario's athleticism, and you saw it with the second touchdown, which that was taking a broken play and turning into a touchdown run. As well as the arm talent downfield, where he has mostly been good on those throws to this point from what we've seen going back to the spring. Clearly, there's a playmaking aspect to what he can do that gives you the type of edge where you want to have him on the field. And I'll just go ahead and say his role needs to continue to expand. Like, you need to have him be a part of the team more frequently than he is currently. You need to give him entire series. You need to give him possessions where, hey, go run the offense. Because having him on the field helps this Mississippi State team out. I know Hydro pointed out earlier that having him in helped the running game a lot. Yeah, Kamario ended up as your leading rusher. 6 carries for 55 yards and a touchdown in this game. Bothwell, 12 for 25. Shapen ended up positive, 10 for 16. He had a couple good scrambles in this game. Did have one designed run that was for decent yardage. Anthony Evans took the 1 carry for 16, and then Booth, 7 carries for 5 yards. Not a great day for him on the ground. Did have a touchdown and a touchdown catches. So it wasn't a bad day for Devon Booth. Having Kamario in obviously helps because when you have a quarterback that is that type of threat in the run game, it evens out the numbers. Obviously, it gives the defense someone they have to account for, all those things. Certainly, having the dual threat helped them out quite a bit. I also get the consistency of Shapen from a pass game standpoint. When he is locked in, and I guess that goes against the idea of consistency, but when he is locked in, he is someone, if you're telling me game on the line and I need you to go down and drive, I actually do trust Shapen more right now. And I think that's where Lebby still puts the confidence in him. That's like that second drive, and you don't want to put too much into it. It's because it's the guy, it's his first real action, second drive on the road in the SEC. I'm not sitting here telling you, looking at that drive and saying that's just who Kamario Taylor is. I can see that from that possession, though. It's like, okay, like I think Lebby recognizes this team. There's too many situations we get in where we have to throw the football. Not having a quarterback you can trust in those spots yet is difficult. But the role has to expand. He's too talented to not get on the field as much as you possibly can, while still having. At this point, I'm basically advocating for a 2-quarterback system, which I know people have their feelings on that. But for this team to be as disjointed offensively as it has been for much of the season, I don't think having 2 quarterbacks rotating would be suddenly so much worse.